Now to cross over and speak to my colleague Patrick Amimo, joining us live from Parliament. He's updating us with regard to Parliament business. Remember that today, Parliament, the National Assembly is going to be coming up with a House Business Committee before they proceed on to begin debates on the presidential address yesterday. Remember that that's going to be happening for the next 4 days. Let me just bring in my colleague Patrick Amimo. This is a story that we're focusing on also here on News Center. Patrick, what are we expecting with this House Business Committee? Do we know if both NASA and Jubilee have fronted people who will be part of this committee yet?
The National Assembly begins its sittings today morning at 9:30. We expect the members to convene in the chambers where the first motion will be at least the motion seeking approval of members who've been elected or appointed to the House Business Committee. And so far, NASA is yet to give its list of the 3 members to constitute this particular House Business Committee. And it's something that the Clerk of the National Assembly is awaiting to see from the NASA leadership on or the party on what who will be the members of the House Business Committee. Already on the Jubilee side, their order appears to be set, and already some of the members that have been proposed, other members that have been proposed into the House Business Committee include we have Amos Kimunya, who is the MP for Kipipiri and former Minister for Finance in the Kibaki administration. We have Shadrach John Mose, who is another candidate that has been proposed in the House Business Committee. The other person is Kawira Mwangaza, who is an independent. She won the Women County. She's the women rep for Meru County. She's an independent, Kawira Mwangaza. She's now been proposed to be a member of the House Business Committee because, according to the standing orders, independents also have a say in the House Business Committee. And the other person that has been proposed in this particular committee is Joyce Akaye Emanikor, who is from Turkana County. So these are the members so far that have been proposed in this particular House Business Committee. And members will be meeting to approve the membership. And just to look at the constitution of the House Business Committee, it's chaired by the Speaker of the National Assembly. In this case, it is Justin Muturi, who won a second term. Also, there's the Leader of Majority, is a member of this House Business Committee. In this particular case, Jubilee has opted to have Aden Duale to maintain, to have a second term as the Leader of Majority, having gained almost at least majority seats in the National Assembly. So the Leader of Majority, Aden Duale, is here. Is also supposed to be composed of the Leader of Minority. But then in this case, NASA should give a list of who their minority leader is in the National Assembly. But NASA is yet to give a list of their leadership in the National Assembly and the Senate. It's something that we are waiting to see who have been proposed to be members of that particular the House leadership, and it's something that might delay this process today at the National Assembly as members convene at the chambers to start debating this motion, because without the NASA membership, then this House Business Committee will not have been fully constituted, because the membership is supposed to be of not less than 21 members and not more than 29 members. That is according to the standing orders of the House, the membership of the House Business Committee. So it's very, very critical that NASA has to come up with a list of members that will be forming part of the committee, because it is a very critical committee that determines the calendar of the House and which calendar must be gazetted. It is the House Business Committee that prioritizes reports of committees on how they will be debated. It is the committee that sets the agenda on what will be discussed on the floor of the House. So it is a very, very critical committee. It is the same House Business Committee that also does basically make any adjustments to the House calendar should there be something to that effect. So it is a very, very critical component, and when the House calendar is set, it must be gazetted, because it's something that once it's agreed and approved by the House, then that calendar must be gazetted. So it is very, very critical that this House Business Committee is in place before anything else starts. So that's according to the order paper. That is the only thing that is scheduled for this morning. In the afternoon, other will be also members will be looking at the house of the committee of selection. The members will discuss membership of the Committee of Selection, whose also membership which is chaired by the Leader of Majority in the National Assembly. And it's the Committee of Selection that is mandated with looking at the nominees for the various House committees. So that matter will be canvassed in the afternoon, and also looking where there's also scheduled for this House National Assembly to set different procedural motions on various limits on the debates, either touching on the President's speech, debates touching on motions of adjournment. These are just procedural motions to set the pace on how the Parliament will be making different deliberations on the time slots that will be given to each member to contribute to certain issues at hand. So that is what is already set on the agenda in the afternoon. That's when we expect the National Assembly to debate the President's speech, as it were, when he delivered yesterday during the joint sitting of the House. Betty?
Right, Patrick, so do we know why exactly NASA has not fronted the names of the people who will be part of this committee yet, and when they will be doing so?
NASA, I'm yet to get the indication from NASA, because I tried to get in touch with Honorable John Mbadi, but he's not been able to return my text. I've tried to get with at least the party communication department, but they're yet to respond to this particular matter. But it's something that NASA has been meeting as their parliamentary group has been meeting, but also there have been also discussions on how those particular slots will be shared out, because NASA is a conglomeration of about 4 affiliate parties.
Right.
We have ODM, we have Ford Kenya, we have Wiper Democratic Movement Party, and also there's Chama Cha Mashinani, whose now fate is not known after the chairperson, the party leader, moved to support Jubilee. So it is maybe they're still discussing among themselves to see how they'll share those slots in regard to the leadership in Parliament, and also when it comes to House committees.
Patrick Amimo there reporting from the presence of Parliament. Today, of course, like he mentioned, a very important debate and sitting will be happening. And that is first things first, the House Business Committee will be constituted. We understand that Jubilee has already fronted the names, but NASA has not yet done so. So we're waiting really to see how this is going to happen. Remember that the sittings and the debates cannot go on until this particular House business meeting is set up. All right, remember, we'll be bringing to you live pictures and the proceedings from Parliament. And I understand that already the members of the National Assembly are already streaming into the Parliament, as you can see, and into the chambers. And we'll be bringing to you the live proceedings there, even as we await to just hear who NASA is going to be fronting or presenting as part of the House Business Committee. All right, so already, as you can see on your screens, they're signing in as they enter, and the proceedings were supposed to begin at 9:30, and as you can see, they're well on their way to doing so. It's going to be a very interesting 12th Parliament, and we'll be following and focusing really on just how they will be able to conduct their legislative work in this particular term. Yesterday, of course, the President made his address to really operationalize Parliament. This an address that was boycotted by NASA and the parties that constitute NASA, except just 2 members of Parliament who opted to sit in for that particular address. So we'll be bringing to you the details of that in a few moments, even as we await for that, just to hear who is going to be part of that House Business Committee, which will be chaired by the Speaker. Let's just listen into a bit of what's happening there, and then we come back to studio.
And also implement the standing orders respecting the scheduling or programming of the business of the House and the functioning of the committees of the House. Also, It is responsible for the determination or determine the order in which the reports of the committees shall be debated in the House. If you are just joining us, these are live pictures from the National Assembly. It is the 12th Parliament. The Speaker of the National Assembly, Justin Muturi, who is serving in his second term, has stepped into the chambers. Now I will hand you over so that you can follow these proceedings courtesy of the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in conjunction with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. My name is Edward Kabasa. Good morning.
Let's pray. Almighty God, who in your wisdom and goodness have appointed the office of leaders and parliaments for the welfare of society and the just government of the people, we beseech you to behold with your abundant favor as your servants whom you've been pleased to call to the performance of important trusts in this republic. Let your blessings descend upon us assembled, and grant that we treat and consider all matters that shall come under deliberation in so just and faithful a manner as to promote your honor and glory, and to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country, and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. Yeah. Honour members, I think, honour members, you see the need for complementary mechanisms.
Right, the proceedings in the chambers have already begun. We'll be going back there once we get to understand really the debates that will be happening. Remember that today, in the morning session, the Parliament, the National Assembly is supposed to come up with the House Business Committee, which really is going to be setting the agenda of what is going to be discussed or debated on the floor of the House. And we, like my colleague Patrick Amimo mentioned earlier, that Jubilee has already fronted the names of the people who will be part of that committee, but NASA so far hasn't. But for that committee to be constitutionally constituted, it means that you need all sides to have representatives in that committee, and so it will be interesting just to see how they will be proceeding, even with NASA having not fronted